Hello everyone, my name is SiC and welcome back to the town of Mequat in Banished. We are playing with the Colonial Charter mod, version 1.75 if I remember correctly. It is called Journey, and this is the second episode, so we haven't built a whole lot. We built a gatherer's hut up to the top left, we built a fishing dock to the top right, or bottom right, sorry. We've got some firewood coming from the woodcutter, and right now we're working on the blacksmith because I want to make sure that people are not going to be running out of tools anytime soon, and we only have one tool left in stock as well as one piece of clothing, so that's another thing that we're going to have to get busy on. So I think one of the next things that we're going to build after the blacksmith is going to be a hunter, even though we don't have a lot of laborers and builders to spare to become hunters. But hopefully we are going to we're going to get some people who are going to grow up pretty soon. Let's see, we have Alice, who is 16. We have Chandel, who already grew up at 11. Betheril, who is 10. Two laborers aged 14 and 11, so that's like, 11 is practically the age they are officially adults in this game. And that actually also means that we can get some extra houses. We can start some more families. That would be very nice to have. But first let's speed up time a little bit, up to ×5, because that is about, that seems about right. And we can make a wooden house right here. Let's see, it's about as wide as the other ones, so that we can build one house like this. Now we can have another road extend past in this direction. We can also get started on that right away, because we might as well, right? Connect it up to this bit of road here. And hopefully that is going to have, one of these young people is going to move in straight away. Or a couple of these old people is going to move, young people is going to move in straight away. And hopefully they're going to have children pretty soon, so that we have a steady income of new people to work in our town. Now, we are still not storing a huge amount of food. We had a bit just before. We have 9 now. So we definitely need more people to work on food gathering. Actually, maybe we should pause this. And we have paused this. We can get started on the house again, but it's going to require extra food. Maybe we should pause that for now as well. Maybe the first thing we should do is make sure that we get a hunter. That way we can get some leather as well as some meat. And yeah. Let's see. How do we want to place this? Not sure how the road extends here. I think it's on this side, but it's hard to tell. So we could build it like so. Let's see, how would that do? Yeah, that would be okay. Let's have a bit of road extending past this thing. Alright, and then we should increase its priority as well. Because like I said, we don't have a lot of food in stock. Oh, we have 446 now. Where the hell did that come from? That is interesting. But people can do without tools for a little bit. I'm more concerned about clothing, because the winters are harsh and they set in quite early. So that is something that we are going to have to keep in mind. And of course, if we are getting leather, we should also have some way of refining that into clothing. So we have clothing and fabrics, and we have a tailor, which is quite cheap to make. Let's see, I'm not sure where we want to put it. We cannot put it here. Would have been nice, but it's slightly too wide. It's about the same width as the blacksmith though, so we could put it on the other side of the road. Right there. Well, not quite. We have a little bit of dead space here, but that's fine. I don't care too much. We can plant some trees or other stuff in the middle there. Let's pause this for now. Let's see. Where else can we get rocks from? Because we definitely need more stone. Apparently this was all already selected for being gathered, and yes, we already have some people working here. Alright. Let's have a look. How is our building project coming along? Nothing is being done at the moment. Wow. Do we have people? Yes, we have. There was someone walking around here, right? Am I imagining things? There was a person? What are our builders up to? Alright, so we have one person picking up resources. And he is picking up resources. They are not happy at all. But there's not much we can do about that for now, sadly. I guess they were too busy deconstructing this little bit of road. Oh well. Looks like we have some fish in storage. That's quite nice. Let's see, previous season, it was a short season because it was built quite late into that season. We only had 380 fish, but this season we have 966. And now that we have some food stored up, I feel a little bit more comfortable with actually building this wooden house. Because like I said, every wooden house is going to have a store of its own food. If there's nothing in this store, it means that that one particular house is going to suffer from, you know, not having any food. It's going to starve to death. So that would be very bad indeed. But I would really like some people to come over and start building this for me. Because look, it's autumn. It's already 0 degrees. It's not even, it's late autumn now. So it's -1. Wow. That's all I can say. It's just wow. That's absolutely crazy. Oh man, look at our little rock bridge over the creek. That is awesome. That looks so cool. Because I kind of like having this feel like a very quick and improvised town. Like everything is old and thrown together. Like everything is as basic as it can be. It doesn't have to be, because we get some more, you know, we have the, let's see, gable houses. Yeah, we have some very nice looking houses as well. But I mean, first of all, we can't build this because we have none of the required materials for it. So this is very late game for us, for sure. But still, you know, I kind of like, you know, this is Banished. It's a community that's been thrown out of whatever community they were living in before. And, well, they had to start again in the wilderness. Not sure what they did to deserve it, but it makes sense that they wouldn't be, you know, going for the really luxury stuff right away, right? So even with bridges, it feels appropriate that they're just going to throw some rocks into the creek for, you know, ease of use, so they don't have to get wet every time they cross. That makes perfect sense to me. Instead of just building a bridge straight out. We can build some bridges later on, but this really cheap stuff, first of all, I think it looks cool, and I think it's appropriate to the setting, so I'm quite happy with that. Looks like Dal has become an adult and is working as a laborer, and our house was finished in the meantime as well. Look at that. Chandel and Dal have moved in together, aged 13 and 10. Fairly young to be married, but what can you do? It's a wilderness survival situation after all. We have to get some people out of their homes, away from their parents, so they can actually start having sex and producing more children. It sounds so weird. 13 and 10, and then, yeah, what can I say? Let's see, what else? We have worship and remembrance. We have parish houses. We have a lot of different churches. Seafarer Shrine. Small place of worship. That is... huh. Interesting. Small chapel. Again, this feels way too luxurious. Wow. Old church. Oh wow. I mean, these buildings look really cool though, don't get me wrong. I think the detail and quality of this is really excellent. But it also feels weirdly inappropriate for the setting. And then we have a central church. Oh, please. Oh Jesus. Yeah. Very late game indeed. And then we have the cemetery, Fences Cemetery, an abbey. This feels better. You know, this feels like they could build it later on. Not right now though, but later. Alright, so it's -8. Some people are starting to be without tools, but the hunting cabin is very close to being completed. I think that means we can also unpause the blacksmith, because it is going to require some time for the hunters to come back with leather. So absolutely fine with that. We should also get some more trees. I think we haven't actually designated any of this to be cut down, but we can do so now. And we have some weeds as well, or some reeds. We have to use this for hunting blinds and things like that. It will be good to cut that down. Collect wild foods. It's not that, no. Remove resources. Right. Hopefully that's going to work out. Look at this. More and more people are starting to work without tools, which is quite bad. Right, let's have... let's see, we'll have 1 builder, 2 laborers, 2 hunters for now, until more people grow up, basically. Later on we're also going to require a cabin for wood cutting. And wood planting as well, because we have a large area that is basically not planted. It would be nice to have this, because it would mean production would go up for these things as well, I think. And this is already producing quite a lot, actually. That's really good. Well, out of the hunting cabin we got some bone meal, we got some feathers, we got some duck meat. That's interesting. I mean, there's plenty of different kinds of food available to us, and we have even more stored at the moment. So I think we're going to build maybe 2 more houses. That'd be very nice to have. One here, one right there. And then once the blacksmith is done, we can start making some tools again, because without tools people will work very slowly. And if you need to get things done in a hurry, like building food production buildings, that is a terrible state to be in. You definitely don't want that. So yeah, the blacksmith can be upgraded later as well, or maybe not this particular building, but the resources it uses. So in the base game all you really need is iron ore, and it will create good tools straight off the bat. In Colonial Charter there are basically there are bad tools and there are good tools, and for good tools you need to refine iron ore into iron ingots, and for that you need fuel, or a special fuel, which you need to make in another building. So that is something that you do, you know, basically in the mid game. In the early game you basically make do with some shoddy tools, and you know, they're not quite as good, but at least it keeps production up and keeps people working quite well, I think. Alright, so we have more children being born, but again we have Alice, who is 20, who is still living with his parents, or with another family basically, because these are not old enough to be his parents. But yeah, he definitely needs to move out into a house of his own, maybe with Befferil, I think. We have another 2 people aged 18 and 16, they could move in together. And I mean, it feels like they're brother and sister, but the game really doesn't take that stuff into account. It just only cares about, you know, reproduction, getting bodies to fulfill jobs and things like that. So we also really shouldn't be surprised if we start seeing wild differences in age. So if you see a 40-year-old man with a 10-year-old girl, yeah, that happens in Banished, and there's nothing you can do about it. It bothered me a lot in the other series that I did on this game, and it's probably going to continue bothering me, but yeah, there's not much I can do, you know. It's just the game's algorithm. It just selects basically the next people in line of growing up. So, you know, if the man of 40 stayed with his parents or whatever long enough to, you know, not have a wife or a home of his own to have a wife, then, you know, he's simply going to get one of the first people to grow up of the other sex. So if that girl happens to be 10, yeah, they're going to move in together, and there's nothing you can do. Which is kind of weird and annoying. Alright, so we have another person growing up. Let's have a builder again, because just this one person is doing a terrible job of keeping up with building these things. Luckily though, food seems to be going pretty well. It's summer again. That goes by quite fast. Wow. It's 25 degrees again. Let's see, what else do we have? Miscellaneous items. Yeah, I have no idea what that is. Raw materials, we have nothing. Forged items, stored luxuries, stored food, firewood, logs. These are the building materials basically. We have minerals and ores, iron, stored tools, stored clothes. Yeah, this is another thing that we're going to have to build later on. Let's keep 1 laborer and then 2 builders for now until this is done. we also want to start building this stuff. For that we need more stone. Not sure, it looks like we mined all the stone that we could from here, so... Later on we're going to have to build a mine. But for now we cannot do that, so... We're just going to have to wait a little bit longer and gather some materials from the surrounding area. Right. The Ngala has become an adult and is working as a laborer. Awesome. So we have 2-2. That's fine. Look at that. Alice 21, Lemmy 10. This is what I'm talking about, you know. This is already quite a difference, but not quite as bad as some of the other stuff you can get to see later on in the game. That gets quite crazy. We can also upgrade these houses into stone houses. Country house. Nice country house. And a fancy country house. Wow. And this is quite big by the looks of it, but it also requires all kinds of building materials that we don't currently possess. Alright, this is a lot better. 20 and 16. Yeah, stun and beferil. And already they have quite a lot of different foods in the house. So that's good. Alright, so yeah, we are making rough tools. It requires logs and iron ore. We need a steady income of logs, because we definitely don't have that at the moment. And then we need food. Or stone, sorry. Not food. We're always going to need food, but mostly stone for this building. I designated some stone to be harvested, so that's just a matter of time. But then I think we are going to want to work on, let's see, resource production. Now we are going to, let's see, a forester lodge would be very nice to have. Now we could make it here, we could build it here, I think, but that would, you know, I think this would be better. It's going to do a little bit on the other side of the building. Maybe plant it right there. You know, like take as much of the empty space up as possible. I think that would be great. I think we're going to pause this for now. But yeah, we need a steady income of logs that doesn't require me cutting down every single tree in the vicinity. Let's see, we're getting close to having the stone that we need. We can cut down a few more trees though. So I'm pretty sure that we're going to build some of this up, or use some of this up and use it for buildings later on. Like so. Alright, we have all the materials required for a tailor. How much leather do we have? Stored textiles. Let's see. I'm not seeing it. Oh, feathers count as textile? Really? That is interesting. Let's see, how much have you produced? No leather? He's only producing duck meat. Huh. Why are you not hunting any deer? Because it doesn't really matter what kind of animals roam around the area, it should just hunt all kinds of different foods. Maybe the mod changed that, I don't know. I haven't actually seen deer over in this area. Huh. That is interesting. Later on when we get some cows and things like that, we'd have to buy them from the trader. Now let's see, hide coat, leather. We can also make stuff out of wool, reeds and feathers for survival coats, full coats, dress coats, etc. But yeah, let's see, let's have a tailor. But since we don't have any leather to work with, it's not going to be producing anything. We could do maybe some reeds and feathers and then make some survival coats, because we do need some stuff. Wow. It's all or nothing, isn't it? Let's make 25. Clove limit reached? No, that's not true. Alright, there we go. Alright, so we have some houses. And let's see, I'm pretty sure we could have more people moving out. Can we? Yeah, we have Sheila. Is Sheila the only person old enough? No. We have Diangala, Casey. So maybe one more house. But like I said, we do need to keep an eye out on stores of food. Right now we have 1324 in storage. It is -2, it is currently early winter, but all the food production systems we have in place can function throughout the year, so that's not going to be much of an issue. Alright, so here we have some deer. It has produced 800 duck meat, 40 feathers. Sadly, there isn't really a way to grow reeds and things like that. So let's see, we have a problem here. The materials required to perform work are not available. Right, so we have 4 pieces of clothing. 9 survival coats were made. So some were already used up. Yeah. Let's see if we can get some of these reeds to be harvested. There we go. Hopefully that's going to help out a little bit with making some more tools, or some more clothes. Right. We still have 2 builders who are doing nothing. I think it's time to start on the Forester Lodge. The way in which you produce buildings in this game is actually fairly important, because it's very, very easy to overstretch yourself. And once you overstretch yourself, it is very hard to come back from that without having a ton of people die. And it's going to require some time, like you can recover, but you just need to kind of measure yourself. You know, need to be very careful and very selective in what you build. Right, so the main thing to look out for is do you have enough firewood stored up, do you have enough food stored up? These are the 2 primary things that people require to survive. Now, food production isn't just, you know, if we have tons of fish, then people are fine. If you only have fish, then people are going to get sick because they don't get the variety that we need in order to be healthy. So having a gatherer's hut that gathers all the plants, having a hunter's hut for meat, then having a fisher's hut for fish and things like that, that is quite nice, that is quite good. But let's see, we are running out of logs and we are running out of stone. And this is why I want to have this thing, because being out of logs makes means that you don't have any more firewood. Right now it is early spring, it's still 0 degrees, but things are warming up again, so the lack of logs isn't too big of a problem for now. But it definitely can be. And I think I'm going to leave all these trees intact. I think I'm just going to cut down some trees over here. Get some stone. And again, later on we're going to have to get a mine as well, because we're going to have to walk further and further to collect stone and other resources, which we don't want to do. Right, so we have plenty of tools in storage for now. We could make sure that we don't have a guy making tools for now, because he's just going to be working as a laborer, but maybe it's better to have him work as a hunter or something else. I think we're going to want to have some people working in the Forester Lodge straight away. I think that is going to be priority number 1. Alright, let's see, what else do we have? Oh, we have salt. I was wondering what this little pile was, but it's a pile of salt. Okay, we have iron ore, I suppose, which is, I think, what this is. Looks like. Some stone, some logs, some firewood. Yeah. Right. Alright, so we have all the building materials that we need. Now we just need the builders to come over and actually construct it for us. There's one. Befferil, the builder, right? Come on. Sometimes it's so hard to just click these little info buttons away. She did a bit of work, but not enough. Let's see, who do we have here? Jolie, a child, aged 0. Seriously. Seriously, 0, and you're already walking out in the wilds without supervision. Well, not entirely without supervision, there are some adults nearby, but come on. It's funny though. You can track all of these people to work and back and things like that, and actually what you can also do, and that's very useful, is you can track the paths that people take between homes and workplaces. So if we click on the hunter, or the gathering building, you can actually see in which two houses the gatherers live. So it's usually the ones closest to the job. Right, we have the hunter, the hunters are living in these two buildings, the gatherers are living in the next two buildings, or one of the same. Right, the guy doing the firewood is living right there. This one is living right there, and these two are for the fishermen. So yeah, the people do find the closest route to work. But I think the next two houses that we make should be along the river here somewhere, because that is closer to work. But first, let's get some people to be foresters. We need to get a steady income of logs. We could just cut down stuff. Well, we also definitely want to be planting things here, because it works in conjunction with these other buildings. Right. Another thing that we should keep in mind is medicine stored. We have only 2. Now we can just gather some medicine from the ground. There isn't a specific button for it other than remove resources, but you can get herbs and things like that. I think these are herbs right here. We can gather some of these up, because, you know, people do need to stay healthy. It's very important. Later on we can build a herbalist, but I think it's a little bit too early to build one of those yet, because they fill up quite easily. Medicine isn't something that is used all the time, so that might be a bit of a waste of resources for now. But yeah, let's see. We are doing okay on food still, and we can still put some people to work in the hunting cabin as well. So we can have one person working there as well for a little bit of extra food production. As for the fishing dock, wow, 1057. That's quite good. That is quite good. Alright. So maybe we should start building some houses here, if we can, because this does look fairly hilly. Let's see, we can build one. We can build 2, okay. So let's build 2 of these. Let's have a little bit of road extending past them. And just make sure, you know, that the people working in these buildings live as close as possible, and that maximizes their efficiency as well. We definitely want to be doing that. Alright, so I think we are doing pretty well. Nobody's starving, food is actually going up, we have plenty of firewood, we are getting some logs now. The only problem is going to be stone, for which we are going to need a mine. But we have plenty of mountains, so that is not going to be much of an issue. I wonder though, let's have a look. Resource production, a shore house, a wild shepherd. Searches all the land looking for animals to domesticate. Takes a long time, you may eventually exhaust the local supply of animals available, at which time this building may be upgraded to a regular gatherer or removed. Oh, that is really cool. I want one of those. A shore house is where sand and clay can be dug up, no. Ores and mines and minerals, right. So we have a mine. Used to mine iron and coal out of the ground. But I'm pretty sure we have a precious mine now. Small quarry. Used to mine stone from the ground. Quarries cannot be removed once placed. Iron ore and coal mine. Right, so this just goes onto the ground. But I wonder, is there nothing that goes into the mountains? A shaft. Tin ore mine shaft. Copper ore mine shaft. Saltworks. Stone gatherer. Collects the stone from around the land. 60 tile radius. Oh! That's interesting, this is new. I never saw that before. Placer mine, a waterside method of harvesting precious ores such as gold and silver. Ah, that is interesting. So this needs to be on the water then? On the bigger rivers, I think. Ah, that is neat. That is really cool. But apparently we have nothing to place down into the hills. Oh, actually, does this go into the hills? Yes, it does, by the looks of it. We just need to find a good place to actually build it. This is very close, but we have some issues here. Damn. So close, but not close enough, hey. Oh, we could build one here. Way in the back. But it goes through the production areas of all of these things, so that would be quite bad. We could build one here though. This could be okay. But we don't have the materials required. Right. Mines cannot be removed once placed. There was a mine that could be filled up. Used to mine stone. Quarries cannot be removed. Small quarry. Salt works. Really, there used to be a thing that you could... upgraded versions allow the ground to be reclaimed on removal. Stone cutters work here, not miners. Right. Stone and salt mine. Yes, okay. So this is a surface mine, and we can actually reclaim this ground once it's upgraded. And for that we're going to need candles, I think. For candles we're going to need beeswax or something else. But let's see, we have Athenia living on her own and Sheila living on her own. We need some boys to grow up and move in with these two girls. Because then we can have some more children. And children are always good to have. Right, so we have Rinaldo. He's getting pretty close. We have Hennerold. That's some time away. Kamari. Yeah, he's 8. So 2 more years. And we're going to be quite fine. Alright, I think that's going to be it for this episode. Because we've been playing for quite some time already, I think. Please leave a like and a comment below if you enjoyed this content and wish to see more. And I'll see you guys with whatever video I do next.